right, Israel preparing itself for what could be a multi-front conflict after an infiltration yesterday at the northern border. Two members of Palestinian Islamic Jihad from the Al-Aqsa camp and Ain al-Hilwa infiltrating the border and getting...
In 2023, the Israel-Hamas conflict escalated to a war, marking it as the bloodiest chapter in the history of the Israel-Palestine conflict. It became evident to the world that the conflict had escalated out of control and urgently required a solution. However, an acceptable solution for both parties cannot be found. Jews and Palestinians both hold historic claims to Israel-Palestine, but their beliefs and grudges prevent a peaceful coexistence in the region of land. The Jews practice the ancient religion of Judaism, which was founded by the prophet Abraham and frequently symbolized with the Star of David. In Judaism, it is believed that the land of Canaan was promised to the Jews by God, which approximately comprises the entirety of Israel, Palestine, Lebanon and Syria. However, due to famine, the Jews were forced to leave their promised land for Egypt in the 15th century BC, where they were enslaved by the Egyptians. After enduring a century worth of slavery, a prophet named Moses emerged. He successfully liberated the Jews from their captors and led them back to Canaan to reclaim their land. Eventually, after more than a century of gradual conquest, the Jews were successful in the recapture of their promised land. In the 11th century BC, the United Kingdom of Israel was established under the leadership of King David, who unified all the Israeli tribes into a single nation. However, it was his son Solomon who built the first Judaism temple of worship, the Temple of Solomon, in the year 950 BC when he succeeded his father. Israel experienced development and peace during the reigns of King David and Solomon. However, Israel began to collapse following the death of Solomon in 926 BC. In the late 8th century BC, the northern region of the kingdom was lost to the Assyrians, who came from Mesopotamia in the northwest, and the southern region to the Babylonians from the east of Israel. During this period, the Jewish population became dispersed, with the majority becoming slaves in Babylon. Although the majority of Jews returned to Israel after Babylonia fell in 539 BC, Israel became a vassal state to various great empires over the years, and the region was gradually renamed Palestine as empires succeeded the region. So, who are the Palestinians exactly, and what's their ancestral heritage? Modern-day Palestinians are descendants of various fallen Islamic Arab empires which used to govern Palestine. To them, Palestine is their motherland. However, even prior to the Islamic presence in Palestine, Jerusalem had already held significance within Islam. 1,200 kilometers away from Jerusalem, in a land known as Mecca, Prophet Muhammad founded Islam in the year 610 CE. On the 26th of February 621 CE, before Islam's influence reached Palestine, Muhammad completed his famous night journey from Mecca to Jerusalem. The journey was a spiritual one. Accompanied by Burak, a mystical steed, and the archangel Gabriel, the prophet was transported to Jerusalem. There, he encountered numerous prophets from the past and led them in prayer, establishing his precedence among the prophets. Under the guidance of Muhammad, the Islamic community grew and their sphere of influence expanded. Following the death of Muhammad in 632 CE, the Islamic Umayyad dynasty was born. Under the leadership of Caliph Umar, the Umayyads expanded the Islamic territory all the way to Jerusalem in the year 638 CE. They constructed the Al-Aqsa Mosque on the site where Muhammad was transported during his night journey and other sanctums like the Dome of the Rock, marking Jerusalem as an Islamic holy site. Throughout the next 1300 years, Palestine became a battleground, with control repeatedly changing hands between Christian crusaders and Islamic empires. As a result of the ongoing conflict, the landscape of Jerusalem was marked by a cycle of construction and destruction, with its structures frequently rebuilt or razed. Despite these turbulent times, the Jewish community had always maintained a constant presence in Palestine. But with the growing popularity of anti-Semitism throughout the world, the Jews needed to establish a national Jewish state for their own safety. In 1897 Theodor Herzl, an Austrian Jewish journalist, founded Zionist movement with the goal of establishing a Jewish national state. Zionism experienced limited progress until 1903 when the movement gained the pivotal support of the British Empire, significantly advancing its objectives. Following the British capture of Palestine from the Islamic Ottoman Empire in 1917, Britain released the Balfour Declaration, which promised a land of Palestine to the Jewish people. Following the acquisition of a mandate for Palestine in 1922, the process of Jewish immigration into the region commenced. The immigration was ill-received by the Palestinian locals, leading to numerous riots and massacres in an attempt to expel the Jews. As the number of Jewish immigrants to Palestine increased, the riots and confrontations initiated by the local Palestinian population escalated in violence. In an effort to address the escalating conflict, the United Nations proposed a partition plan in 1947. This plan suggested dividing Palestine into separate Jewish and Palestinian states, with Jerusalem designated as an international city under a special international regime. The UN Partition Plan of 1947 is frequently cited as the catalyst of the modern Israel-Palestine conflict, yet tensions and hostilities were already simmering with the influx of Jewish immigrants into Palestine. Palestinians contested the legitimacy of the Balfour Declaration, arguing that it was unjust for a foreign power to allocate land where Palestinians constituted the majority. Conversely, Jews anchored their claim of Israel in both historical and religious terms, along with their need for a Jewish national state for the safety of their people.